Today's story is titled The Lekki Headmaster, Chapter 1 Doxed. Something seemed unusual in the way the principal walked to the podium from the back of the assembly. He moved his rather tall frame ponderously, not as smart as he used to be. The trademark money smile was not forthcoming. He took the microphone from the chapel prefect, Angel, held it but said nothing. He was staring blankly at the ties. This was unlike the principal because he was always cheerful. There was an heavy silence on the assembly. He attempted to speak, and this time around it was tears. Everybody saw them as the tears fell from his eyes, and everybody was surprised. He tried to speak again, and this time around the microphone fell from his hand. At this point, the teachers and even the vice principal ran to the podium to actually help him out of there and ask him, what is going on? And teacher Titi gave the principal an handkerchief as they led him out of the stage to his office, while the vice principal told the chemistry teacher to take over the assembly. On their way, they kept asking him, what is going on? What is going on? Instead of what, he kept on crying bitterly, This consolation did not stop anytime, so it lasted for a good 30 minutes. By the time the vice principal would get to her office, her phone was buzzing with calls, and she kept on talking to parents. The news had gotten to them that the cheerful principal was crying on the assembly. Some even said they heard him saying, "Oluwa egba mi o, God save me." But the assembly earlier did not actually begin on a cheerful note, because the boarding fee of the school, Stardom Schools, was actually 250,000 naira, but it has been reduced to 165,000 naira. Many parents were excited and wanted to bring their children to boarding school because of Lagos traffic, so that their children can actually enjoy comfortable and a good place, and they will not be stressed by traffic every morning. But this policy did not just come like that. They had increased money for excursion and other items. They increased them. This increase was up to 93,000 naira, and even the staffs started gossiping, especially the finance teacher, Mr. Abdul. He was like, this MD is a witch, and he even swore with his finger. The assembly had commenced earlier, and this school is actually an A-list school located in the heart of Lekki. They started the assembly with the usual ritual of reciting the second national anthem as a prayer. This was usually done on Tuesdays and Thursdays for Christian prayers, and the Muslim prayers were on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Afterwards, which they sang the first national anthem, and the chapel prefect, Angel, came on the stage and announced that it is time for the prep talk. This prep talk had been introduced by the principal about a week ago, and the person taking the prep talk for today was Ikenna, who had just actually returned from his excursion from Jos in Plateau State. The stage was filled with cheers as he climbed up to the podium and said, "I saw Nigeria in its acrobatic beauty. If you had not been to Jos as a student, he told them you were missing a lot." Ikenna spoke about the lovely cold weather in Jos. He said Jos was so beautiful. They had beautiful mountains, a very lovely weather, and was even rich with good and healthy fresh foods. And he even continued as he said, "Dearest star of Stardom Schools, Jos has been showed to us from the light of the violence and the crisis that has actually affected it. But notwithstanding, Jos is a very, very beautiful city, which is actually good for tourism." And he said that was the reason even why, when the white colonial men were in Nigeria, they actually stayed in Jos. He went as far as saying, even if I actually had an opportunity, I would love to settle down in Jos instead of jackpotting to Canada or London. And there was a burst of laughter among the students. Everyone cheered for Ikena as he left the stage. Angel, the chapel prefect, went back on the stage and called everybody to order and decorum with orderliness. Ikena's mom is actually a broadcaster, and even though Ikena is a science student, he is still an award-winning poet. Ikena's outing was an evidence of good education offered by the Stardom schools. After Ikena left the stage, the students were hoping that their principal would have come on stage and actually correct even the mistakes that probably Ikena had made on the stage. Their principal, which is tall, light-skinned principal, and always corrected them of the way they pronounced his name, saying, "It is not principal, it is called principal." The news of what happened had gotten to the MD, and she was in her office looking all frustrated by what could happen to their cheerful principal to suddenly start crying on the assembly ground. As the VP has raised alarm concerning the principal's strange behavior. And only the previous day, the teachers were surprised with a cash prize from the school concerning the WAEC they have written, and every student came out in flying colors. Nobody actually failed. Many teachers were given snacks, bottle of wine, and 20,000 each. But for the teachers, which their subject was passed distinctively, were given 30,000 naira, and the teachers were Mr. Umboku Ukaku and Mrs. Taye Karim, whose subjects were chemistry and geography. Even though two students had the teachers were happy that they had escaped backlash because nobody scored F9. If any student had scored F9, the teachers know it will be it will not be a good thing. Immediately, the managing director arrived at her office. She called Mr. Dekpo into her office and asked, "What is the problem?" She kept on asking, but he kept on saying, "I'll be fine, thank you, I'll be alright." She was tired. At this point, she sensed that they should call another teacher who is a pastor, the physics teacher, Mr. Okpewande. Mr. Wande kept on talking to Mr. Digbo, asking him questions, trying to talk to him, but it looked like he was talking to a brick wall for a good 10 minutes. He did not say anything. The managing director was already so tired, and she asked him, "Give me your wife's